Let's see. I've got a 97 Chevrolet K1500 with a 5.7 liter Vortec V8. And some major work has been done to it prior to me purchasing it. They rebuilt the engine, they rebuilt the transmission, they redid the exhaust system from the cat back. And it looks like they installed 2 new oxygen sensors within the last 2,000 miles when all this was done. The check engine light keeps coming back on. We've tried resetting the timing. It'll run great for about 20 miles and then it goes into like a limp mode. I don't know how to describe it, but all of a sudden it loses power and you have to stomp on the gas to really get it to accelerate, and it sounds like a jet engine. I did just change the fuel filter as well because that was looked like the original one, or hadn't been changed in forever. So I thought maybe that was impeding the fuel getting to the engine, but after the last time the mechanic reset the timing, it did run great. But same thing happened the previous time. We reset the timing, we drove 20 miles, check engine light comes on, it goes into this like limp mode, and then it struggles and it sounds like a jet engine. And then we reset it again. You know, everything is within specs like it's supposed to be, and the same problem has, you know, popped up again, like 20 miles to the like 20.0 miles. It happens every time. So I've been told that either you have to reset the timing using an OBD2 tool with Tech 2 technology, because GMC requires this type of tool in order to reset the computer's ECU. I'm going to try and cheat by draining the ECU of power and causing it to manually and automatically reset when I reconnect the terminals. Basically, you disconnect the battery terminals, connect them together, let it, you know, stay this way for 15 minutes. There's no danger in shorting anything out because you're not touching the batteries. You can see I've got a cloth covering the battery to double make sure nothing touches. And we're going to let it set off for 15 minutes. Then I think we have to reconnect everything. We have to restart the engine, let it run for about 15 minutes for the ECU to go through its own rebooting and reprogramming, and see if that magically fixes the problem. If not, I'm kind of really confused as to what the issue is. Maybe I really do have to reset with this OBD2 tool with the Tech 2 technology, which is kind of hard to find these days. I tried to take it back to the Chevrolet dealership down the street, and they're like, we don't work on any cars more than 20 years old because we don't have half the tools that need to work on them. And I'm like, well, that's great. I wonder who does. So that's what we got going on. Truck drove like a brand new vehicle when after the last time it was reset. I mean, it really drove well. And I can't figure out what the issue is right now, other than, you know, possibly the ECU just needs to be reset, or you have to use this special tool. So we're going to try this and see how it works, and I will update you and let you know. Now here's the other issue. When it goes into this like limp mode, basically I've got a brand new HVAC system installed, you know, compressor, hose assembly, and actuator or dryer, whatever you want to call it. And it works great until it gets into this limp mode, and then it's like intermittent. So an electrical issue is definitely happening. Like it'll be cooling great, and then all of a sudden I go to like stop at a stoplight, and I'm idling for a little bit, or I'm in traffic, and then I just lose the air conditioning. You know, the alternator is looking like the original puppy that's on here, and this thing is 201 and some change on the clock. So while it may have a rebuilt motor and a rebuilt transmission, a lot of the parts are still original that are on here. You can tell that the AC is brand new though. So that was the other weird thing that was happening, is that once it, you know, the check engine light came on, you had this roaring sound like an engine airplane, and then you just lost all power. The AC would go out. So we're going to try to reset this ECU and hope and pray that that takes care of this mess. If not, I'm going to have to try to find a local shop that actually has this old GM tool and see what they can do. All right, it's been a full 15 minutes. I left the two terminals connected, touching each other. Reconnected the battery, and we're gonna see what's what. Interesting, the check engine light is off. Let's see what the AC is doing. It does let it run for 15 minutes. I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch it run for 15 minutes, but it's interesting the check engine light's off. But maybe it has to run through the cycle to pick it up again. Anyway, I'm gonna let it run for like 15 minutes, and I'll run the AC too to see if it cools. See what's what. It's been running for like 20 minutes. No lights back on. Idle is like 100% better. It was like bouncing around between 8, 9 all the time. Now it's just kind of steady right at 850, 900. It was pretty much 900, 950 when I started it. AC's blowing fine. Engine is running very smooth. The AC is definitely working. Quiet. We're gonna go test drive it. Hopefully you can hear me. The AC is kind of loud. Alright, so reset the ECU. The check engine light is off. It ran for 20 minutes in idle. Now test driving it. I was at 82 miles on the trip when I left, and normally the check engine light comes on like the second I hit 20 miles after it's been reset or cleared. So we're gonna see what happens. You'll have to bear with me for 20 minutes while we do this. So far it seems to be switching gears much better. Still get that sort of jet engine airplane sound though when I step on the gas. Maybe you can hear it here. It's not as bad as it was when it was in limp mode. It's actually going much smoother. I mean, it'd be howling when that check engine light was on. Alright, we're at 55. We're gonna see how this kind of goes. Drive out into the country at 55 miles an hour. It'll pop up sooner than later. Cruise control and everything still works. Bought this project, this truck to be a project for who is right now 14-year-old son. I thought it would give me almost 2 years to get this truck straight in good, safe, reliable operating condition for him to drive when he hits 16. The bad side to it is a 5.7 liter V8 Vortec, so it drinks gas, gets like 13 miles to a gallon around town. That's one thing I'm also interested to see if it improves with the new fuel filter. The old one was absolutely filthy. So how the gasoline was even getting to the engine is a miracle to me. I think the next project on this truck is going to be the shocks. They're definitely worn and done. It's bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. I know trucks ride a little rough, but this rides more than a little rough. In case you're wondering what started all this, the check engine code that you get is a P0137. Which tells you like oxygen center, low voltage 1, something like bank 2. And that can mean just about anything in a GM truck. I know it's not the oxygen sensors because they were replaced in the last 2,000 miles, and they look like it too when I checked them. My only other, if this comes back on again, it's either that resetting the ECU with the Tech 2 tool, or it's going to require a new mass airflow sensor, or it's going to require a new catalytic converter. Those are the last three things that I can think of, but it appears to be electrical in nature, so I'm hoping this ECU reset did the trick. back if it pops back on. Alright, 10 miles now into the test drive, and still doing well. No check engine light. We're full 10 miles into the test. Well, completed 20 miles and no check engine light. Everything seems to be running fine. I forgot that I put an ozone canister in to kill the horrible smoking smell that was in this truck before I bought it. And I needed to kind of roll the windows down so I didn't die. It really works, by the way. I'll show you that in a minute, but so far so good. And there it goes. And the check engine light just came on. That was about maybe 25 miles into the test drive. I drove 20 miles, stopped at a retail shopping center. The truck shut off for 5-10 minutes. I'm on the way back and the check engine light comes on. I've got cruise control on, and as it tries to speed up, you get that jet engine sound. Probably it's going to happen any second now. Maybe you'll hear it, but whatever it is, it just keeps recurring, so I'm going to have to go take it in someplace. It's got a tool that can figure out what is going on. So much for the quick fix of resetting the ECU. It was driving great, and now the light is back on again. I'm sure it's the same code. I'll run it again, and it'll be P0137.